Right. The team that I think will win the Barclays Premiership, it's a very controversial decision, but I honestly think Manchester City. And the reasons why I think Manchester City are simple. They are the best equipped team, without doubt, out of the 20 Barclays Premiership teams this season. They have made good signings, including Negredo, including Jovetic. They've also added to their midfield by the signings of Jesus Navas and Fernandinho. I think Manchester City, at times last season, they struggled against the lesser teams, and that too many draws is what impacted them on winning the championship. However, I think with the signings Pellegrini's made, it should make a big difference. I mean, the midfield's very compact. You've got the likes of Nasri, Silva, Fernandinho now, Yaya Toure. They're going to be a strong unit. And also at the back, they've got Company, Nastasic, Zabaleta, Kolarov. So honestly, I don't want Man City to win, but I think this season they'll do it, just as they did 2 years ago. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how Negredo and Jovetic do. Will they adapt to life in the Barclays Premiership, or will they fail like so many before them? But that's the whole point of being anticipated, innit? So Man City to win the Premiership. In second place, it's got to be my team. It's got to be Chelsea FC, if you can see that. This is not a biased decision. If it was a biased decision, I would have put them first. However, I think Man City have made stronger signings than Chelsea. We've obviously brought Andreas Schürrle from Bayern Leverkusen. He's a decent prospect. And I also, just like Man City, think Chelsea's midfield is exceptional this season. You've got the likes of Hazard, Joan Mata, you've got Ramirez. You've got a really good midfield, and that's including the likes of Lampard, who had that experience. Chelsea in recent seasons haven't done too great in the Barclays Premiership. Admittedly, last season we finished third, was it? And the season before we didn't even get into the Champions League. So, well, we didn't get a Champions League spot, what should I say? But I always think Chelsea are always one of them teams that we always fight for the title. However, when it comes to the final few weeks, we're never in the picture. We haven't been in the picture for a few years since we won it back in 2010. However, with Jose Mourinho, massive character, I'm glad we've got him back. He's a fantastic manager. However, is him himself bigger than the club? That's why probably Manchester United didn't look to bring Mourinho in, because having Mourinho in is definitely good and bad, because he adds press, he adds publicity. However, on the negatives, he's a bit, I don't know, but be interested to see how he adapts, especially after such a long absence from the Barclays Premier League. So Chelsea in second place. I'm gonna talk about the top six. I'm not going to express all the positions because that'll take too long. In third place, I'm sorry United fans, do box me up, but Manchester United I'm going to put in third place. And to be fair, every time we knock Man United and we don't think they'll do it this season, they always end up doing it because they know what it takes to win the Barclays Premier League. I think, to be honest, their team isn't perhaps at the same level as Chelsea's, for instance. Yeah, you've got the likes of Rooney, Van Persie, Kagawa. You've got some good individuals in Manchester United, but they've got a lot of like good players, but not world class. And I'll express my reason for that opinion now. Like, for instance, Darren Fletcher, he's alright. That's all I've got to say about him. Like, people like Johnny Evans, he's alright. Who else have they got? Yeah, they've got some really good players, but within their team, it's just like a lot of average players, if you know what I mean. Like, let's compare it, like, if you look at Chelsea's midfield, we've got Hazard. I'm not just pointing out individuals, because they might work very well as a team, United, but when you look at them on paper, you don't think they've got the team to, like, win the Champions League. That's just my opinion. So that's why I'm putting United in third. However, it'll be interesting to see how David Moyes does. He is currently the predecessor from Alex Ferguson. I hope he does alright, but there's a massive pressure on that job. So it'll be interesting to see where Man U finish. I think third for Man United. In fourth, this was a hard one because Liverpool have strengthened. However, Arsenal haven't strengthened, but Arsenal know what it takes to get in the Champions League spot and always climb to that elusive fourth place. And you've got Tottenham as well. So out of them three teams, I think, who's made the best signings, who's going to get that elusive fourth place, I'm going to go with Spurs. And the reason for that is, I'm still not sure if Gareth Bale is definitely going to go. We're in that sort of stage where we're not sure if he's 100% going to go or he's going to stay. That could be very dependent on where Spurs end up finishing. But be interesting. But they've made some really good signings. They bought Salsado from Valencia. He's guaranteed 20 goals. He's a very clinical finisher, but the Premier League's a different story, the pace and everything. But They brought Salsado, Paulinho, Chadil. They brought some good footballers, to be fair, and that's with the likes of Segerson, Vertonghen, Salsado, Paulinho, Chadil. They brought some good footballers, to be fair, and that's with the likes of Segerson, Vertonghen, Adebayor, Defend. They've got some good players at Spurs. I don't think they're strong enough to challenge for the title, but I think they're definitely going to get that 4th spot ahead of Arsenal, and that's where I put Arsenal in 5th. Yeah, I understand for the last 15 years Arsenal managed to qualify for Champions League football, but every season, every time it comes to the transfer window in the summer, you always think Arsene Wenger's going to finally stop being such a tight arse and buy good players, but he ends up buying average players as that. However, like, I know sometimes he can pull out an amazing player like Fabregas. He can buy him from nowhere and make him amazing. Van Persie, another example. He's done it with a lot of players, but then he buys people like Gervinho, for instance, last season. Gervinho, he's gone back to Roma. That's the funny thing about that. Like, Chamak. I mean, these players, I don't know. I'm not going to question Wenger. He's a good manager and all. He's got the experience. He knows what he's doing, but I just think he needs to start spending, and if Arsenal are ever going to challenge for the Premiership, or ever going to win trophies for that matter, he needs to add quality to his team. He needs to sign a £30 million. Yeah, I understand the ongoing battle with trying to buy Luis Suarez, but if it's not going to work out, then just buy someone else. How many times have we seen Arsenal trying to buy a fantastic player, and then just because, say for instance, Demba Ba in January 2012, Arsenal were looking to buy him, and then Chelsea just basically raided him and ended up paying a bit more. I think it was a few £1 million more, and then that was their signing gone just because someone outbid more. How many times do Arsenal get outbidded by other teams? I know them other teams may have more money, but it's a regular occurrence in my view when they're always linked with someone like Higuain. Napoli, for instance, they spent more and they got Higuain. So that's my problem with Arsenal. I'm going to put them in 5th. In 6th. It was a pretty tough decision, to be fair, but I think Liverpool will comfortably have 6th place because, like Spurs and Man City, Chelsea, they've added to their team. I don't know all the players, but they've got a guy called Espaz. No disrespect to his name, but his name's I don't know what his name, Asparagus or some shit like that. But yeah, they brought some decent players. They got rid of the deadwood, like Stewie Downing. They've got rid of Andy Carroll as well. So yeah, I think Liverpool are decent opposition, but I don't know. I mean, in the back of my mind, they could be a good force going into the season. You never know, they might get top 4, but I think that's a bit too ambitious for them. I think they're a decent team. They're all gradually increasing. It's mad to see the decline in that team within the last few years. I mean, they went from Champions League football regularly to not struggling to find Europa League. So yeah, I think Liverpool 6. And for my final position, I'm just going to say top 7. Swansea. Swansea will be my dark horse this season. Not necessarily to win the title or anything, but I think they'll have a fantastic season. I mean, they're just, every season they're getting better. I mean, the first season they got promoted to the Premiership. I'm sure they finished mid-table. And you've got to remember, that's a newly promoted team. And then last season they won the Carling Cup. They're on some good things. They're an ongoing team. They're bringing in good players like Wilfred Boney. I'm sure he scored 40 goals in Holland last season. So I'll definitely give a look at Swansea. They look very good, well equipped. And it'll be interesting to see how they do in Europe. But so many times we've seen that playing in the Europa League affects Premier League performances because the Europa League matches are on the Thursday and then you've got the Saturday games. So it's hard to tie both them games in because you end up losing the Premiership game if you put everything into the Europa. So yeah. I think that's the top 7 for me. So first place Man City, 2nd Chelsea, United 3rd, in 4th Tottenham, in 5th Arsenal, in 6th Liverpool, and in 7th Swansea. The teams I think are going down, it was quite a tough one because with the Premier League, it's so tight at the bottom. Like you've got like 8 teams that could go down, but it's just a lottery. And I think the most likely 3 to go down, just by what I think at the minute, Crystal Palace. I mean, I don't really know who they've signed. I think they signed a guy called Cornelius. No, I think that might be Cardiff actually. Crystal Palace, I'm iffy and butty. Like, I'm sure they got promoted to the Premier League about 8 years ago and they went straight back down. So, with a lot of the Championship teams, you see they can't hack life in the Premiership and they end up going straight back down. But with Crystal Palace, I think that will happen with them as well, unfortunately. So, Palace goes down. I reckon also the other promoted team, Hull City, Hull Tigers, quotation marks, they'll also go down. And like Crystal Palace, I don't know if they've added too much to their squad. Have they signed Basong or something? Have they signed a few players? Like I said, I don't. With these lesser teams, no offence. Well, with the teams that aren't like publicised as much as the bigger, I don't really shed too much interest in who they've signed and stuff. So apologies for my lack of knowledge on the lesser teams and my opinion. To be fair, but yeah, I think Hull City will go down, and the final team to go down will be Norwich. They've stayed in the Premier League for the last 3 seasons or 2, I think it is. I think they bought that really. I think they spent like £11 million on a striker. I don't know his name, unfortunately, but they could stay up. I'm not saying for definite, but I think they'll get that 17th spot and just end up going down just by the brink of the next. In recent Premier League seasons, we've seen it's always the last day. That's when a team will go down, or that's when a team will stay up. So I think Norwich will unfortunately go down. So yeah. I've explained my top 7 teams, I've explained the teams that I think will go down, and that just leaves the mid-table sort of teams like Newcastle, Everton, all the blah blah. I think I'm excited to see a few players, especially Jovetic. I mean, he's highly talked about to be a very good player. He's only young, I think. He's very good on FIFA, but that doesn't really count for anything. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he is. Negredo also. Man City have got a lot of strikers, haven't they? Aguero. They did have Balotelli, sorry. Aguero. There was me saying they got a lot of strikers and I can't even think of them. Aguero, Jovetic, Negredo. Oh, they've got other people on there. Can't even remember. But I'm sure they've got a very good strike force. It'd be interesting to see how Negredo and Jovetic do, of course. It'd be interesting to see how Cardiff do. I think they've made some good signings, to be fair. They bought Cornelius and that. Then you've got Sunderland, another mid-table team, I think, to be fair. Paolo Di Canio is a character just like Mourinho is. I think this season they'll be safe. And also Aston Villa, I think they'll have a decent season mid-table compared to last season, struggling to stay in the Premiership. But because I think what will boost morale at Aston Villa is the fact that they've managed to keep hold of Benteke. I mean, he was exceptional last season and he was a big part of why they stayed up. So keeping him is definitely going to boost them. And yeah, like I said, with my videos, I just express opinion. I'm not going to say I know everything about every single one of the 20 teams in the Premiership, but I've got a rough idea of every team and we'll see what happens. I'm very excited. The Premiership kicks off at Saturday. Make sure you build your fantasy football teams. It'll be interesting to see what players do well and what players don't. Really get £100 million to spend as well. And yeah, I apologise for the lack of consistency on this channel, to be fair, but I don't know, man. But hope you've enjoyed this video. Can't wait, to be honest, for the Premier League. It'll be great to see. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it as well. God bless. It's been your boy. In a bit.